Shiba Guru AMA powered by Watcher Guru, your official #1 source for news and trending crypto. I'm Matt from Matt's Market, working in collaboration with Watcher, and I must say I'm truly honored to bring you today this amazing panel of speakers we have assembled before you. We have a wide array of topics to cover tonight with a few surprises for everyone, which you are not going to want to miss. If you want to get to know this show to get started, we're going to need to see some retweets and shares of the space right now. Let's show the world how powerful the Sheep army really is. Shiba is all about community, and right now we need everyone you know on Twitter in here right now with us. This is a collaboration of two of the biggest juggernauts in crypto, Watcher Guru and Shiba Inu. Let's gather up the army and get them in here right now. Let me introduce my co-host, coming to you from a day trading studio in the middle of nowhere, Alaska, Bulldog from Bulldog Trading. Let's give the people what they want. Let's kick off the show.
Thank you, Matt, for that accurate and informative introduction. I am Bulldog, founder of one of the first Bitcoin meetup clubs ever almost a decade ago and co-host of the weekly Twitter space Blockchain Banter powered by Watcher Guru. I'm absolutely ecstatic to get into this AMA with one of the, if not the biggest crypto communities in the universe and some of the amazing representatives behind the Shib army. Make sure you are sharing that space by hitting that little button in the bottom right-hand side of your screen and hitting send. Before we go on, as usual, nothing in this space is or should be construed as financial advice. Now, without further ado, today I have the pride, the privilege, and the pleasure to introduce to you a cryptocurrency investor, Shiba Swap expert, and YouTuber known as Crypto Angel, joining us tonight on one of the biggest Shiba Inu stages in history. Welcome to the stage, Archangel.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, Arch?
Not too much. I just want to make sure you all can hear me okay. I'm using my phone here, so just make sure that sound check is good.
Absolutely, coming through loud and clear.
Awesome. So up on the agenda tonight, first is the Doggy Dow. Now, a lot of you may have already taken part of voting in the Doggy Dow. And first, for our new friends listening, I think it's important to understand what a DAO is before diving into the specifics of Doggy Dow. So I apologize to all of our veterans out there, but I believe it's important because, one of the great things about Shiba is that it's brought a ton of new people into the crypto space. And I think we really need to keep doing, need to keep that important. So I'm just getting the message that you were just doing intros. Is that right?
No, we are on. We're interested in the Doggy Dow. We know it's focused on providing immediate power to the community through decentralization, and we'd love to hear what you have as far as an update to the Doggy Dow.
Okay, good deal. I just got a message that I may have interrupted doing a full range of intros before doing the specific topics. So just let me know. I'm open to keeping this conversational. If you feel free to engage or anything like that, that'd be great. So one of the things that I really want to make stand out is that Shiba Inu has invited a lot of people who have been I'll call crypto hesitant into the community, and it's really been a great bridge for bringing new people into the crypto community. So terms that we throw around on a regular basis may not be as familiar to people that have just gotten in the last 3 to 6 months or so. So a DAO, if you don't know, stands for a decentralized autonomous organization. And in the loosest sense, the DAO allows for a group of people around the world to decide on proposals or topics or actions that are put forth in the DAO. So people use what's called a governance token to vote on proposals, and all those votes and actions are public on the blockchain. So it really provides a trustless environment for that. So in regards to the Doggy DAO, it's important to know that we are in a beta phase of the DAO. So we just launched this over the last couple days, and we are in the midst of voting for wolfable pairs right now. So this first phase is limited to just those wolfable pairs, but it will have more functionality in the future. So the wolfable pairs that will be voted on will receive bone rewards once they're voted in the wolf function of Shiba Swap. Now, since this is a beta release and we have an amazing user base, a step-by-step implementation is required so we don't run into any security or just faux pas as we may find out. So this includes oversight of our defense breed and the Guardian's wallet. And if you're not familiar with the Guardian's wallet, that is the multi-signature wallet that requires 6 out of 9 signatures for any action to be taken. So this can also be referenced in the Wolf paper as well. So we are especially cautious as we all watched a DAO experience a hostile takeover a few weeks back. So that's definitely on the minds of everyone. So we just want to make sure that we take this step by step. So I know I've been trying to accumulate some questions in the background so we can keep some relevant information. And I think one of the biggest things to address is that the Doggy Dow is not a token. So this is a platform for voting. And Bone is the token, is the governance token that we're using for that voting process. So, and again, anyone can provide liquidity, including scammers. So this is something that they can vote on scammers if they want to. So we, with great power comes great responsibility. Holders have more control over the wolfable pairs, and this is kind of a for the Shiba devs, a kind of a letting your child go and grow up on their own type of thing. So again, with great power comes great responsibility. So it's up to you to do the research necessary to protect your funds. So we really want to see this blossom and grow into a community run and managed situation. And again, this beta phase is going to be over the first 2 wolfable pair votes, and then additional functionality will be added. And we'll look into community feedback and the overall process of how everything operates in the way it's going right now. So any questions so far?
Excellent information.
Good deal. So I'll leave it for the Doggy Dow, because I know we've got a lot to cover tonight. And with that, I'll just pass it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Arch. Your dedication and contributions to the Shiba Inu ecosystem are highly appreciated. Let's keep the information flowing as we move on to the next segment of our space tonight. Matt, my good man, what's next on the agenda?
Hey, thank you very much for that, Bulldog. For the first time tonight in our presence this evening, the silence will be broken, the voice will be heard. The Shib behind the name will be exposed to the universe. Here to update us on Shiba Swap, Leash, Bone, and much more, I am absolutely thrilled to introduce Shib Informer. You now have the stage. Welcome, my friend. Shib Informer, are you with us?
Yes, can you hear me? Hello?
There we go. Coming in loud and clear, man.
Okay, perfect. So it's my first time in public, unless with that many people there. I have no idea how many people are connected. Probably I don't want to know, but it's great to be here anyway. We're here to try to tell the Chief Army what we are doing, and also explain why we do the things we do. Sometimes it's really hard for people to understand that this whole concept of chip, leash, and bone is basically an ecosystem. And even if chip is really important, I mean everyone cares about chip, even us. Leash and bone are necessary in the ecosystem. Having 3 tokens actually allow us to be more flexible when we want to develop new things. You have to think that we are exploring new ground here for crypto. So we need to be able to face many challenges in the future. But let's say, for example, that we only have chip there. And we start adding every other functionality on the top of it. At some moment, you will have problems trying to have a flexible ecosystem, to do things. By spreading these utilities among different tokens, you can actually play a little more with them, This gives you more things to do with your tokens. So I think it's really important to highlight this, because we want to have a system that is very resilient. The challenges before us are great. Chi token is one of them. So that's why it's important for everyone to understand that these 3 parts are really important for everything in the system. But I know that everyone wants to talk about chip. people complain a lot last time because Shib wasn't talk about that much. But here we are for that. So people are always lost all the time. So what's the utility for Shib? And well, there's something you cannot understate, that is the ability for Chip to buy things in the markets. We have partners like no payments on shopping AI IO, sorry, and others, even small businesses, that are starting to accept Chip. And you have to consider that today crypto adoption is not there yet. We're just starting. So having this reach already in the start of the race for for being accepted everywhere, I think we have a pretty good utility there to be able to buy things. Well, this was a lot of things. Any questions in Ram? I need to drink some water.
So, no, thank you for that. Thank you for that insight. But for some of our new listeners who might not know what Shiba Swap is and what are the benefits, can you shed some light for us?
Well, that's part of the ecosystem too. I mean, the tokens are on one side, and the other is Swap. That was a project that was started from the community. Saitoshi is a community member too, but he just organized everything and started to build this project. So it's very important for us. I mean, it's where we can develop most of our ideas in Swap. Not only the swap functionality, but also the staking, Chibochis too. So it's very important for us. And we have to say that Swap was developed very quickly. Was really, we were against the clock when we were developing this one. The team was developing this. So we really try to make things simple and be able to manage everything. In fact, at the beginning of Swap, I remember that some steps were manual regarding the internal operation of the swap. But things have been evolved now, and I can tell that right now there's a new version of Shiba Swap in development that will be a revamping of the UI and a few other surprises that I can mention later. But if you see, we have Shiba Swap, we have Chip, Leech, Bone, Chibochis too. We have the metaverse that is coming, and all that creates new functionality around the ecosystem. And now I will mention a point that everyone wants to know about, and this is about the future of the burns in the system. And this is very related to Chiba, so I will mention that. Um, okay, so what we know now about the burns is that the systems that will be in place will be built around some functionality. It's not that we want to make the burn rate grow with the utilization rate of the platform. You see, if we do that, we can have something like a virtuous cycle that feeds back into each other. As you get more utilization, you get more burning rate. So if you think about it, this is kind of the new utility that you can see of Chip, that is about that getting the supply slowly reduced as much as you use the platform. This is an incentive for everyone to actually use it. So I think the burns are directly in towards that part, but don't ever ask for 90% burns of things like that, please, because this is really impossible. We really need to tie this to the usage of the platform. So this is the vision that we have for burns. And well, they're still very early to actually talk about the specific mechanism for that. But the general idea is what I mentioned just now. And that's what I can say about the burns. I just wrote an article today about that, and I published it this afternoon about the community doing that. So if you want, you can go read it in my Twitter. So well, that's it basically. That's what I can say about the ecosystem in general. And I hope that people can understand that there's a vision around it. It's not just okay, just do that right now. No, there's a plan. There's a plan for moving forward with that. We want to make a platform that is available for everyone. We want to be the most popular token in the world. We want everyone to be using Shiba, Chi, and all the other parts of the ecosystem. So this is a long race in some ways. So I really thank you for all the Chiba army that wants to go with us in that road. It's going to be a very exciting road for sure. So far has been. I started my Twitter just 1 year ago, and I cannot believe what I'm doing now. But I'm sure that this experience is also for many of the people that are now part of the Chiba army. That changed my life, and I'm sure changed the life of others too. So that's it.
That's awesome. So we have seen, I want to touch a little bit on scams that are out there, because I know you're involved in the technical side of
Oh
things.
my God. Yeah, that is terrible. Well, lately we'll be more successful shutting down some of the scams. Usually we try to target websites or Telegram groups or Twitter accounts. Sometimes an email call for the help of the Chief Army, which I think is great. I love when people joins together to fight our enemies, the scammers. I love that from the Chief Army, by the way. But they are really, really bad. I think they're getting worse. So now you just not have to be worried about just where links. Now you have to be very careful even what contracts do you sign. I mean, even a simple signature can be stolen and used later for other things. So it's going to be really, really tough. It's important that people learn to do their own research and understand that free money is never free, and probably is a trap for you if you're not careful. So I really need to highlight that the Chief Army has many newcomers. This is a pride for us. We are proud of being the entry point for many people in the world. But that also means that a lot of people are not familiarized with the mechanics of the crypto ecosystem in general. And people take advantage of that. But we try to let people know frequently what is going on from my account or from Chip Defender, which is something more specific for scams. But sometimes I just post in, in both accounts because sometimes the scammers are too much. We just have to stop them somehow. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
So Shib Informer, some of the things we've seen, like scams directing people to migrate to Shib version 2, or websites asking to sync your wallet, or other scams like that. Can we put an end to some of those things? None of that is happening. Is that correct?
Sorry, can you repeat the part? I lost it there for a moment.
So one scam that I've seen that's been pretty prevalent is a scam asking people to migrate to Shib version 2 and enter their
Oh,
private
yeah.
key.
Yeah, that was one that a lot of people reported that email, and we did a little research. Like in 10 minutes, it was a big scam. So we just put a tweet there, and we also reported the website. I mean, we try to attack the scammers in any way we can. Sometimes we are successful, sometimes not, but we still try.
So
We really try to stop them. Yeah,
to be
and
to be absolutely clear, I mean, what's the very best way to avoid falling for any of those scams? We should follow a specific Twitter account and only count on that, or can you explain
yeah,
exactly?
yeah. But if you want to give a general advice, I think it's better is that be careful where you connect with to which website, and also usually airdrops are just scams. So try not to follow them. It's very common. It's in particular from very popular tokens. I mean, if you see an airdrop of Ethereum, an airdrop of BTC, or a video of Elon Musk saying he's going to give away cheap, that's obviously scam. This is no one will just give you money for like that. So just don't be. I mean, it's fine to be a bit greedy, but when you're too greedy is when things like this happen. You think, oh no, I'm gonna make it with this, but this is the trap they use, to get you. So just be reasonable and don't let greediness blind you. Be always reasonable. Yeah, that's my advice for them. And I don't want to end this part before saying something about Shiba Swap and Burns, actually. That this is like new information, so there's not too much I can say except that Shiba Swap 2 will have a specific burning portal. I don't know yet on the details, but that's what I know now. Is that we're considering burns also as a part of Shiba Swap 2, so you will have a portal there, but no more details for now. That's it.
Hey, thank you for that, Sheep Informer. And man, I'm super excited to hear you on the mic for the first time ever tonight, man. That is really, really cool. So, moving forward, let's do a quick recap for all our listeners that have just tuned in so far tonight. We have covered Leash Bone. We had the privilege of hearing Sheep Informer on the mic for the very first time. We talked Doggy Dow, and we have much, much more still to come. So, if you were just tuning in, take a moment to tweet out this space and make sure you are following the amazing panel of speakers here tonight. We also have a link to Watch Your Guru's Telegram pinned to the top of the bar up top. Make sure you jump in there and hit them with a subscribe. You won't be sorry you did. So, Bulldog, what's happening, man? You getting hype yet?
You already know, Matt. I just want to take a special second for a special shout out to Milkshake for your many time unseen contributions to the Shiba Inu ecosystem. We greatly, greatly appreciate you and everything you do for the Shib Army. Shib Army, let's see some emojis in the chat for Milkshake. Throw those 100s, those hearts up in the chat for Milkshake. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here tonight. Matt, take it away.
So you're listening to Blockchain Banner, hosted by Bulldog and Matt, powered by Watcher Guru. Make sure to join us every single Sunday for a brand new episode.
All right, up next, we have the guru of the Shiba Discord. Shiba's Twitter Spaces face could never be replaced. There's no more need to wonder. Here's Queenie from Down Under. Queenie, welcome to the stage. How's that mic working?
It is working, I believe. Hello.
Excellent, excellent. Welcome. Lovely to hear you, Queenie.
Hello. I'm glad to be here again and on a much more stable connection this time and actually able to get in. So it's good. I believe that we're actually going to have a exclusive update on wellies next with touching back with Archangel again. So I'll probably have to hand the mic over again, but thank you for the introduction. I love that it rhymed. And I will definitely be speaking shortly on some really exciting developments that we've made in the games section. So everyone should stick around for that, especially our lovely, lovely Shiboshi holders. But yeah, so I'll pass back over to Archangel now, actually, for the wellies update.
Awesome. We'll make sure to get right back to you. So let's talk a little bit about wellies. Archangel, we have been seeing these tantalizing photos of welly burgers all over Twitter. I see them in my sleep. When I see these, I'm usually so hungry, I'm ready to take a bite right out of my phone. They look so good. What is happening with wellies? And more importantly, where can I get some?
Yeah, so I know what you're talking about. Every time I open up my Twitter, I see a Welly's chicken sandwich or burger, and I'm like, man, I'm hungry now. I want to eat. So yeah, I can't wait until this comes to the States. But right now, Welly's is the first store is open and operating in Naples, Italy, and you know. There was a lot of pushback on this one, and I think Welly's is kind of a dark horse in the ecosystem. So there's not really been anything like this in the world before. So as a matter of fact, it'll end up probably being an entirely new business model, and many don't understand it or can make the connection with Shib. However, this will probably be one of the first restaurants in the world to run on blockchain technology. And the branding the team has done is amazing. The food, I mean, you've seen the pictures. It makes you want to eat it right there. And I think with the Shiba community, we're just creating a restaurant with an already built-in customer base, and I think that's going to be amazing. So as one of the things that I really want to touch on is that this is not a get rich quick type of thing. This is definitely, in the crypto world, I think 10 years is equal to 1 year in the crypto world. But this is very much a physical, real world building business process. So this is going to be a multi-year process to develop and open Wellies locations around the world. So if this were the only project Shiba was working on, the moniker of meme token would be thrown out the window. But we've already heard all the other things that Shiba is working on. So, you know, as Wellies develops, there's going to be a burn function with every purchase once Shibarium is active. And, you know, the community will benefit from the Wellies franchises, you know, token holders within the Shib ecosystem. Wellies will be developing applications within our Metaverse project, which you'll hear a little bit more about later on. And that will be a project. So it's something that will be in the physical and virtual world tied together that will be exclusively in the Shiba ecosystem. So, and really, one of the things that we really want to focus on is not only are we creating a new business model, but we want to help employees not just be seen as employees, but as partners, and they will be rewarded from the store performance as well. So Shib if anything, we all connect with Ryoshi's vision. And if you don't know who Ryoshi is, I know there's been a lot of people come on board since Ryoshi went dark. So if you haven't gone to read the blogs that kick this all off, if you don't mind, Bulldog and Matt, to link those in here somewhere, to link those Ryoshi blogs. The vision of community coming together and operating for the overall benefit of the community rather than self-interest is really what drives a lot of this stuff. And Wellies is no different in that aspect. So really,
Arch, if I
yeah.
walk into a Wellies right now, can I buy a Wellies burger with Shiba Inu?
Right now, Shibarium is not operational yet, so you won't be buying Wellies burger with Shib on the Shibarium system. So as far as if they've got, I'm not in Naples, so I'm not sure exactly, but they may have a scan where you can pay with Shib right there, but it's not on the Shibarium platform. So I want to make sure that we don't conflate the two. So,
well, thank you very much for that. And in my opinion, this is an awesome venture for Shiba Inu to be involved in. I think it will help lead the path forward to opening up other opportunities. So, Bulldog, what do you say we do a quick recap before we move on to the next segment?
Yeah, well, just a couple things. Sorry, I got a couple more bullet points here, but there is an NFT project that will be developed funding, and if you go to eatwellies.com, you can see that we're going to be funding these franchises and stores, some of the corporate stores, I guess, with NFTs. So the NFTs will be exclusive, and there will be more details coming out about that in the future through a blog article. But also, if you want to franchise, there's also a form on the website at eatwellies.com, and you can click the little button in the right hand corner to inquire about getting a franchise. So franchises are expected to start in the first half of 2023. Again, this is a multi-year process, and building physical, real-world businesses that require moving dirt and building a building, and a physical building. So it's not going to operate in the same way that we're used to seeing businesses start in the cryptoverse.
That's a pretty amazing announcement. So far, we've covered the Doggy Dow updates, Shib, Leash, and Bone Utility, Wellies Fine Food Establishments, and that franchise announcement. If you're listening to a recording of this AMA, feel free to rewind and catch up on the topics that we've already covered. Shib Army, make sure you're following every speaker on this panel tonight if you want to stay updated on what's happening with the Shiba Inu ecosystem. Matt, it's time to leave this universe. I've got my moon boots on. I'm strapped in. Where are we going, Matt? Where are we going, Matt?
Matt's already left. He's on another planet.
He's already taken. He's stopped on the rocket.
Twitter was being a little funny with me, but look, Bulldog, you already know where we're going. We're headed to the Metaverse. The Metaverse is a hot topic around the planet right now. We recently saw some updates come out on the Shib Discord regarding this topic a few days ago. Archangel is here to enlighten us about these updates and much more. Arch, you now have the stage once again, my friend. Could you come up and give us an update on what is happening in the Shibaverse?
Yeah. So, and one other thing about Wellies that I wanted to touch on is, we've gotten, and I'm glad that this has come up again, because we've gotten a lot of messages of why aren't we partnering with McDonald's or Burger King or some of these other really big chain restaurants that could be focused on some sort of burn platform. And this really isn't about accepting Shib or buying things with Shib. One of the great things about partnering with Wellies is that Shib is going to be the foundation. The Shiba ecosystem is going to be the foundation of the restaurant, along with Shibarium that it's going to be operating on. So it's going to be pervasive in every aspect of the ecosystem. So, and of the restaurant. So it's not just about being utilized or being paid for with something, but it's got an actual function within the restaurant. So moving on to Metaverse. And before we do that, do we have any questions on Wellies right now?
None for me. I'm super excited about the whole venture. Like I really am. I'm looking forward to see what actually comes out of it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty awesome to see, and I can't wait to try it. I may just have to take a trip to Italy just to taste it here in a little bit. So, as far as Metaverse goes, I'm not even sure I have my head wrapped around what this is exactly going to be. So, the Metaverse is going to be an immersive world that is a community space that's much bigger than any type of game or system out there. While games will exist in the metaverse, so will businesses, social clubs, and our partnerships that we're not going to mention anything yet, but this is going to be a very immersive experience that we're going to be building out here. So we're going to get into a lot of details. So feel free to listen to the recording back again, and there will be a future blog articles that will detail some of this information out there as well. So first, we want to confirm that the metaverse will use and expand the utility of Shib, Leash, and Bone. So all three tokens of the ecosystem will be utilized. And again, this is also going to include Shiboshis and Shi and everything else that we have going on. So one thing to note is that the ecosystem is going, every part of it's going to play into the metaverse. And the metaverse is basically the embodiment of the Shiba ecosystem. So I'm sure everyone is waiting on lands since they were publicized in one of the latest blogs. So here we go. So there will be a total of 99,000 lands in existence. So only about 35,000 of those will be released in phase 1, and the rest will be locked for future phases. So out of that 35,500 lands that are going to be released in phase 1, there's going to be 4 different categories for lands with different prices. Now, we're not going to dive into the pricing and categories today, but we want to present the concept of the lands right now, and the rest of the information will be coming in due time. So the lands will vary and be based on map positioning, and the closer to the dog park, which is right in the center, they are, the more expensive that they're going to be. I think that's a pretty well a given. So each group of lands will have specific attributes, which will be announced at a later date. But as to how you may obtain land, there will be a 10-day land event for the purchasing of the phase 1 lands. So leash holders will get first dibs, and there will be a dedicated portal for the land purchase where leash holders will lock their leash for a predetermined amount of time. And again, this time frame will come later. The locked leash will provide a receipt, and this is not the same as your X leash if you have X leash staked. So you'll be able to convert your leash directly to this new locked version of leash, and you'll need to be able to unstake your X leash and lock it into a specific tool for the lands event. The more leash that you lock, the lower the locking period will be, and additionally, you'll be able to purchase more land at once. So as an example, locking 0.2 leash will allow the purchase of a 1x1 land, and while locking 5 leash will allow the purchase of a 10x10 land. So this is the maximum a wallet can purchase is 100 total plots. Let's see.
Is there a specific cutoff date, Arch, for this ownership of leash to get involved in this?
There is not a cutoff for leash itself. So the leash will be utilized for early access to the lands, and we'll cover some of that a little bit in these bullet points here. I just want to make sure that I run through everything. So again, and leash isn't leash is meant for exclusivity, but Shib and Bone and Shi and all the other tokens will be utilized in the metaverse. So we want to make sure that there's no token that feels left out, because they're all going to be utilized, Shib, Leash, and Bone. So let's see here.
Okay, great. If you don't mind, I'll take just a quick second and introduce one of our panelists tonight, a man with the gift of gab, a levitating linguist, and a positive force in the Shiba ecosystem. Please throw some emojis, some hearts, some 100s in the space for Rowdy Rodney Cipher. Welcome to the stage, Roddy.
Hey, thank you very much. And yeah, thank you very much for asking what I'm wearing tonight, because you didn't. But just to let you know, I'm wearing the red carpet collection from Oshkosh Bagosh. No, listen, guys, I'm super stoked about this. This is, I mean, I'm absorbing everything. Archangel is just pumping out the information there, and I'm trying to write it down. I'm like, oh my God. And then Shib and Former, like, okay, like we're all like focused on Shibarium. Obviously, all the stuff is coming with Shiba Swap 2.0 and the burn portal coming out. And like, I know I'm going to get in the DMs and just start poking. I want more information. Like, okay, guys, I don't know what to say, but let's get loud. Let's everyone tweet this out. I mean, we got the like the actual Shib accounts in the audience here. I see so many people that I know down there. Just, yeah, like I'm stoked. I'm super stoked for this.
Awesome. Arch, you have a few more bullet points you want to touch on?
Oh yeah. We're probably about halfway through the bullet points. So, so the lands. I think it's really important to note that the lands will be paid for in Ethereum, not leash. So if you remember our Shiboshi's launch, everything you had to be a leash holder, and you also had to pay for the Shiboshi's with leash. So that's not the case with the land. While you will still need to be a leash holder to allow early access, you will be paying for the actual land itself in Ethereum. So since the Ethereum will be used to continue funding the metaverse, we will not be using any of the Shiba ecosystem tokens for purchasing land. So again, holding leash will allow early access, but will not be used for purchase. The lands will vary in price starting from 0.2 ETH to 1 ETH. However, there will be a bidding system in place. Let's see here. So that's going to be over a 10-day period. Now, an interactive map will be deployed, and the users will be able to select their desired lands and see what lands are available and up for bid. So whatever you have been bidding on, and with the amounts depending on the zone that they're in, you'll be able to purchase those lands or bid on those lands by zone. So for a visual, compare this to like selecting your seat at a movie theater where they show you the little screen and you pick which seats that you want. So it's very important to know that this is a bidding process. So you may bid on lands, but others can outbid you for those lands. So when you bid, your Ethereum is sent to a smart contract that will keep it until the event finishes. And your Ethereum is restored into your wallet if you're outbid, and the bid ownership passes to the new user. So while this will eliminate some gas wars, there will still be some bidding wars inside of this 10-day event. So once you place a bid, you can't cancel it or withdraw it. So you won't be able to pull back your Ethereum, as it will be locked into a smart contract until the end of the event, as long as your bid is the top bid. So again, if you're outbid, then your Ethereum will come back to you. At the end of the event, the bids will be executed, and you'll be able to mint your lands from there. Now, the reason, one of the other reasons we don't want to use Shiba ecosystem tokens is for the anti-dumping mechanics. So, and basically what that means is the leash that you're going to be required to hold, you'll be required to lock that up for a period of time. So if you remember the lessons learned from the Shiboshi's launch, we saw leash jump up in price and then immediately crash after the 35 minutes sold out for the Shiboshi's. And we don't want that to happen to the leash token or any ecosystem token this time around. So we're going to be we don't want to run up the price and then just have it totally crash once this particular event is done, and then people wait until the next event. So I think everybody can appreciate that part of it. So to sum up, you'll be able to get early access to lands with locked leash and the bid or purchase of lands with Ethereum. And then after the bid event, after that 10-day land event, lands will be open to the public and everyone will be able to get the remaining lands. But we saw how that worked out with the 24-hour window for Shiboshis. They sold out in 35 minutes, I believe. So I would not count on that. So now I also mentioned Shiboshis at the beginning of this. So this is where I break out my Ron Popeil meme and say, but wait, there's more. And for those of you old enough to laugh at that, thank you. So I've got some more news for our Genesis Shiboshis holders. The Shiboshis, you are up and foremost. So there's going to be 2,000 of you that will be selected to mint one land within the Shiboshi zone, which is a reserved area that contains lands of all 4 categories and is exclusive for Shiboshi's holders. So besides that zone, you don't even need the required leash to mint the land. So this is a huge benefit for Shiboshi's holders. You're free to roam during the whole entire bid event. There are plans for all Shiboshi holders within the multiverse, as well as important upcoming votes to be done within the Shiboshi's social club on Discord. So more information will be talked about that within the social club, but I think that's a really important thing. And this is going to be something that we're all going to be unpacking and realizing over the course of time about how awesome this is. And we just have to thank the devs for giving this huge benefit to the Shiboshi's holders. So we already know a bunch of you. I'm getting some messages now that are spamming the chats with excitement. So the bottom line, to avoid any confusion of who is eligible, a secret snapshot was already taken to preserve the Shiboshi's holders even more. This will prevent from splitting wallets or anything like that. So we'll be randomizing the Shiboshi holder addresses within the snapshot and allow 2,000 unique wallets to be given access to minted land. So we'll be releasing the date and time of that snapshot within the next few days or so for full transparency. But after the bid event, if any reserved land on the Shiboshi zone hasn't been purchased, that will be open to the public as well. So I think that's enough there to digest on the metaverse. And if you have any questions, let me know. But yeah, there's a lot of information there.
I sure do, Arch, and I appreciate that. If I could throw up some green hearts, I would. I didn't do the update, but I'll throw up some 100s for you. But quick question on the metaverse. Will it be accessible by VR headset or browser or type of phone application?
Yeah, so the metaverse is going to operate like any other metaverse, and we're going to try and pull in as many mediums and on-ramps as possible. So whether or not those mediums are going to be able to access the first iteration of the metaverse, that's really a tactical decision. So we're really focused on the strategy and building out the operational functionality of it right now, not necessarily how you can onboard into the metaverse. Because again, this is going to take a while to build out. So those decisions will come in the future. And I think, but obviously we don't want to be a closed market. So we're going to try and onboard as many mediums as possible.
Totally understand, man. Thank you very much for that information. Do you have any closing statements on the metaverse before we move on to our next topic tonight?
Yeah, I like I said, I haven't fully gotten my mind wrapped around what we're creating here in the metaverse. It is an absolutely amazing experience, and every time I have a minute to think about it, I'm like, oh, that's probably going to happen. Oh, that's probably going to happen, and I think it's going to create a whole new style of business, a whole new type of business model, and one that's open to the entire Shiba ecosystem community to build out. And really your imagination and creativity is your only limitation there.
Awesome, man. I can't wait to get out there and start bidding on some land myself. So thank you very much for all that information. Bulldog, what do we have next on the agenda?
Before moving to the next step, I would like to mention something very, very, very quickly.
Yes,
Hey, so what Arcangel says is very important, that we expect the Chiba Army to start developing things on the metaverse. And So one thing that is very funny that I will never think it will happen is about a game, the Burns. So you will never expect that a market of applications and services will starting to be built around burning tokens. I mean, if you had told me that 1 year ago, hey, a market will appear around just burning tokens for half the profit, they keep part of it, etc. And a lot of applications are starting to do that exactly. So it's really hard to imagine what can the Chief Army do in the metaverse. I mean, we can find, who knows, a new type of organization for society. Even people start organizing there because you can trust the blockchain for some things. So I think it's really big, this step for us to expand the reach of the Chief Army in general. And we hope that many partners join also. The other day, Chadochi mentioned in Twitter that different companies joins different metaverses like they were cities. So like have branches on different metaverses, and this is something that I think this is going to happen also with our metaverse and with everything else around this market. It's going to be a very exciting year for sure.
Yeah, thanks, and Shib Informer. And one of the things I really want to note is that the Shib token is really what ties this all together. It is the reason that we can do all these projects. It's the reason that we can do a metaverse project. The reason we can do a restaurant project like Welly. Shib is the token that generates the community and embodies the community. And none of this would happen without Shib. So I definitely want to thank all Shib holders out there for the making this possible, because really none of this would be possible without Shib holders.
Excellent point. Excellent point. And I can't wait to see the metaverse. The Shib Army is going to show up. So, Bulldog, what do we have next on the segment for tonight?
All right, thank you, Matt. So next up, we are going to be discussing a little bit about Shiba Inu games. So, Queenie, Our Lady of Shib, there are questions swirling around the Twitterverse and beyond regarding the Shiba Inu games. From what I've read, the Shiba game is split into both a classic mobile game and a game powered by the Shiboshi NFTs. Correct me if I'm wrong. We'd love to hear what you have to bring us about the game, the NFTs, and what the future entails for Shiba Inu games.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is probably the one thing that gets me the most excited. It is definitely a project that's near and dear to my heart. As I definitely spoke at length about last time, I'm a very avid gamer myself, and my Aussie pride was sparked when we chose Playside. So yeah, basically there are two games. They are essentially the same game, being developed concurrently with one another. The slated release date for the non-blockchain version of the game, so one that operates purely the same way as typical mobile games do at the moment. So you'll have it on the Play Store, it'll have in-app purchases, things like that, but it won't be powered by the blockchain. That's the one being developed by Playside and headed by our wonderful, wonderful William Volk, who we'll actually get to speak with shortly, which I think is going to be extremely informative, but also just an opportunity for some great insight into the project. But yes, so just to clarify, there are two versions of the game. So one is not blockchain supported and one is. The blockchain supported one is the one that will integrate Shiboshis and any future NFTs that come with that. So the Playside version of the game is actually set to be released this year in Q4 or earlier, hopefully. There was a little bit of confusion around this, as it's really important to remember that Playside, being an Australian company, they did put out an Australian Stock Exchange or ASX announcement that said that it would be Q1 of FY23. So in Australia, our financial years actually aren't calendar years, it's from July to June. So Q1 of FY23 in Australia is actually July to September. So anywhere in that period would be their target, but we're thinking by Q4 this year. So basically before the end of the year, we're expecting the Playside one to be released. It is a collectible card game, so think along the likes of Hearthstone and Gwent and all of those. And essentially what we want to do is that we want to create something that gets the Shib name out there, which of course we've seen with the likes of Wellies, entering this bigger space wherever we can, and something outside of the crypto bubble, so to speak. Something that everybody can enjoy. You don't have to have Shiboshis, you don't even have to hold any of our tokens, but you can still enjoy the game and be exposed to our environment, our community, and what we're all about. So really just looking to create a fun game that keeps people wanting to keep going. And then we'll have the blockchain version, and that's the one that's going to be centered around our Shiboshis and any future NFTs that are associated with it. And they'll actually be able to, our players and Shiboshi holders will be able to gain value through the play to earn mechanics of it. So the game's going to feature hundreds of cards to collect. The cards will be available for purchase, and there'll also be NFTs, sort of added like a cred during the games. And the theme of it all is yet to be released, but it pays homage to past iconic games, and it kind of keeps with our meme heritage, but it will still be a serious contender that's balanced and most importantly, fun. I remember hearing a while ago that, and I'm sure he'll speak on it in a moment, that William is very anti-pay to win, which essentially is when you play games where you can purchase things with real money that give you an advantage or an edge over your opponents. And it really does kill fun really quickly. So I'm actually very glad that while this will be a play to earn game, it's not going to be one that centers around, getting smacked with someone's credit card, essentially. So that's something that I think will really make us able to broaden our target audience and the people who can play. You don't have to have thousands of dollars just to enjoy this game. So the way that it will work, it will have aspects. So this is the blockchain version. So it'll be more than just a clone of the one that PlaySide are developing. It'll have new aspects to it. So underlying same game, same theme, same art style and all of that. But this blockchain version that we will be developing, and I say we as in actually our Shib team. So obviously we are working with PlaySide and William to develop the first version of it, and then the blockchain one, it'll be done by our developers, sort of in consultation and in coordination with them. So this one will have new aspects that are unique to the Shiboshis and to Shib, and it should challenge the collectors to build a truly unique card set that's built around their Shiboshis. And there'll actually be almost infinite card set combination possibilities, as it heavily relies on the traits of the Shiboshis. But yeah, so that's something I'm really looking forward to. It's got me extremely excited, and I can't wait. I've seen some incredible artwork from PlaySide of previews for the the art styles and the cards and some of the characters, and it's just, they are phenomenal. Shout out to PlaySide. They work quickly and they get things done. It's beautiful. But without further ado, I'd like to bring William Volk up to the stage and say hello. And thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to speak with you. I know you've been working tirelessly on this, and from a personal note, I have been a big fan for a long time, so I'm hiding my fangirling at the moment.
Thank you. And you've covered a lot of ground, but one thing I want to make it clear is this is not just a clone of a existing collectible card game. This is really kind of unique. Yes, it's centered around the Shiboshi world, the Shib world, and the characters in the Shib world, the Shiboshis and all that. But there's some things that are very interesting about this. It has a very sustainable economy for both the mobile game and for the blockchain game, because the mobile game is going to actually give value to the Shiboshi holders. We're not going to talk about how that works, but it's going to happen. And the players will gain value from the blockchain version through a play to earn mechanism that we're not really going to tell much about, because we're going to do something unique again that's different. My goal is to have a game that's really a great game. In fact, I came onto this because I really loved the philosophy of building the game first as a mobile game, a free-to-play game with the really good mechanics, because I felt that one of the things that had been going wrong with play-to-earn games is sometimes the games seem to be pretty uninteresting. But in this case, we're building a really great game, and we're standing on the shoulders of some very excellent uh, collectible card games, but we're doing much more than they do. It's really cool. And as far as Playside goes, this is the largest game studio in Australia. It's really a AAA studio. They own one of my favorite games of all time, Dumb Ways to Die, but they've also done some amazing things in VR and 3D and all that. So that could mean something in terms of 3D. And basically, the game's going to have hundreds of cards. The cards are going to be, totally based on the Shiboshi world and all that. And there is a real homage to some great gaming experiences that we all love. And I'm super happy to be part of this.
And we're ecstatic to have you on board. When I found out, I was extremely excited. To have a veteran of the industry be so forward thinking and wanting to be part of this innovation, I think it's just a really amazing union of skills, because you've got that experience, you've got that perspective, but you aren't afraid to leave the past in the past and make strides towards the future. And I really love that. I've got Shaitoshi here wondering, I'm so interested to see how he likes working with me. I can be a hard ass.
Well,
So he was wondering.
He deserves a lot of credit because it's his idea in many ways to do this. And the thing that's so amazing is, the team, everyone's really synced up to make this happen. I mean, I had experience in what I would call real money gaming in the UK, but this is a whole new world, and it's really amazing to be part of it.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And how's it been working with Playside? Have you found that it's
easy.
really, yeah,
great. Believe me, I've worked with a lot of development companies. Playside's great because they have the right attitude about this. We have really, I would say, energetic discussions with everyone involved, different opinions and stuff. And what ends up happening because of that, we come up with decisions that make total sense. And on my computer, on a big screen I'm looking at right now, behind this, while I'm holding up the phone, it says Star Citizen, never forget. There's a real commitment to getting this thing out and making it strong and not losing sight of the goal here, which is a great collectible card game that lives in the Shiboshi universe and pays homage to great gaming, but goes beyond what we've seen in collectible card games with some really cool gameplay features.
Yes. And I think that's a really important aspect that sadly a lot of companies have kind of lost sight of in recent years, cyberpunk, in that do it once, do it right.
yeah, and we're going to do we're I'll say this. We're playing stuff now. We're actually playing things now.
Yeah.
We're playing prototypes, and we're seeing what we see. And today I saw some artwork that just blew me away. It was a mock-up, but it was like, wow, we're really going to do that? That's awesome. And there's just so much going on here. It's fun, and it's totally Shiboshi. I mean, it's the characters are there, the NFTs are there. It's great, and I think we're going to have a really sustainable economy. There's been some papers out there about play to earn, basically criticizing a lot of the play to earn economies in some of the games that we're talking about out there. And I think Shaitoshi and the Shib people have solved this, and it's great because basically people who are playing the non-Shiboshi game, they have a non-blockchain game, have no barrier to entry. It's easy to get in the game, just like it is with any other game, and their play will benefit value to the Shiboshi world. So it actually, and in a way, also think of this: people will play the mobile game, they'll love the game, and then they'll be incentivized to go to the blockchain game because they'll actually understand the game and they'll understand why they want to go to the blockchain game. So it's like we're not just throwing some honestly thrown together game into a blockchain world. We're going to have a polished game that forms the basis of the blockchain game, and I'm very proud to be part of this. Great people, one of the best things I've ever worked on.
That makes me so happy to hear you say that, and I completely agree. The pieces that I've gotten to interact with so far and will be interacting with further as we develop the blockchain game, it's just, I love to see things built for the community, by the community, and that's exactly what Shib is all about.
And speaking of community, I'm going to be at GDC. So I'm going to be at GDC. We'll find a place to get together, maybe the Playside people are suggesting a pub nearby, and we'll just find a time and we'll just, have an hour or two or 3 or 4, and we'll chat and we'll have fun. So yeah, if you're going to be at GDC, we'll use these channels to communicate what we're going to be doing. But we'll be at GDC and we'll have a get together of some kind.
Oh, I'll have to fly over.
Yeah.
But yeah. So and as much as it's just so difficult, and I'm sure you feel the same way, where there's so much exciting stuff going on, and we can't say all of it, obviously, because we never want to show our hand. It's a big Shib thing. We never say anything before it's time. This is just an update on how things are progressing, which is pleasingly quickly and to a very, very good quality. But there is more in store when it comes to the games that I think we will be announcing closer to the launch, that I think will make even more members of our community really happy. And again, just because it's a game, just because it's the metaverse, just because it's a burn portal, just because it's a restaurant, it doesn't mean this isn't about Shib. And I know this is something, just kind of going away from the games for a moment, and thank you so much, William, for speaking with us. It's just something that I personally wanted to touch on, because I read it all, I see it all, every DM I receive, I open it, I check it, I read it, even if I can't always reply. And this is Shib. We are Shib. The project is named Shiba Token. Everything we do is for our community. So just because we make a game and you don't like games, it doesn't mean that we've shifted our focus from Shib. We're not abandoning anything. Bone has a role, Leash has a role, but Shib will always be king. Everything we do feeds back into the ecosystem in some way. We're implementing a burn portal because we see the massive community outcry for it. We want Shib to succeed. So don't feel let down if you only hold Shib. It does not mean you're missing out. I promise you that in future, everything, as all of the pieces of the puzzle click together, it'll make a lot more sense. And I mean, I hold every aspect of the ecosystem I can. I have Shib, I have Bone, I have Leash, I have Shiboshis, because every part of it excites me. But if you can't afford Leash, or you can't afford a Shiboshi, or you're not interested in the DAO and you only use centralized exchanges, it doesn't mean that you're going to be left in the dust. We have to remember that last year was it was a huge year for Shib. And it's tricky because a lot of us only hear about it when it's booming. Like, I joined in May and I felt like I was late. I can't imagine what it was like for people who joined in October after that peak. And I completely understand the fear, but Bone and Leash are part of our ecosystem. They always have been. We aren't forsaking Shib for the sake of new tokens. They've been around and in the works for a long time. These are just basically projects we need to build to flesh out this ecosystem so that we can continue building. Shib can only go so far without things changing. So we want to empower the community, use this momentum, use this adoption and the just incredible voice that we have to just keep going. Like, let's take over the world, you know? Shib is an enigma. We are a force, and I basically just wanted to throw in my 2 cents that Shib will always be king. Everything around it is built to support it, and they all feed into one another. I went on a little bit of a rant there, but
No,
hopefully I got my point across.
That was fine. You did a great job.
That's fine.
Hey, Mr. Volk, I just have to say I'm a really huge fan of your work, and I'm super excited to see what y'all are going to be pushing out there with the Shiba Inu team, and I am super excited for it. Do we have any more touching points that we want to get into before we move on to the next segment of this show, Queenie?
I am good to go.
Awesome. Well, Bulldog, do you want to take us into the next segment?
All right, yes, it ties in closely. Our next segment is the highly anticipated by those in the know, covering Shiboshi's NFTs. Here to help us understand the massive hype behind Shiboshi's NFTs, I'm absolutely thrilled to introduce once again the technical genius, Shib Informer. Shib Informer, the stage is yours. Mr. Informer.
Yeah.
He sometimes has mic troubles. Are you there now?
Sorry, I was away from the phone for a second. Sorry.
You're all good. Reading you loud and clear now.
All right, Shib Informer, we're looking forward to hearing what you have to bring us on the Shiboshi's NFTs.
While we're waiting for him, can we get Uber Eats down there to send me up a snack? I see
I
that.
think
I'll
I think
take a
when
he's
warm.
at
Welly's Uber Eats collab.
I
Yeah,
know.
when Welly's there, Uber Eats. I
He's
see
at
you down
Welly's
there.
right
You're
now.
listening. Yeah. Except
Hey,
Shib also,
just
or
make your
she.
order
I
through
don't know. Come on.
Rowdy, I must say, while we got a few seconds while we're waiting on Shib
Yeah.
Informer, my best dress vote goes to Miss Kelly Ann Collins over there.
Oh, don't do that. Oh,
You know,
down.
I realize I know Kellyanne Collins from a long time ago, and
Don't
I don't think
do
she.
that. You're
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about like 18 years ago or
Yeah.
15 years ago.
Were you
Yes.
part
Yeah,
of the
there
Olivia
was a site
Newton?
called F Certain Company, and I was on that site as a nom de plume child. I don't want to mention, and she was there, and she was like a personality back then. My God, I can't believe we go back so far. That's hilarious.
I know, it's mind blowing. I know earlier when we were chatting briefly, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like our worlds are colliding because we were there in the beginning, Web 1, and here we are in Web 3. It's awesome.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, it's just
I love that.
starting to get into mobile games. Yeah, the
Hello?
early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys.
No, it's all
Not
good,
worry
Shib
at all.
Informer. We're glad to have
So
you back,
yeah,
man.
so
We
you want
wanted a
to talk
quick
about
update on the Shiboshi NFTs, if you could, please.
Yeah, sure. Well, actually, I had to mention something about the Chaboches NFT. For some time, I actually thought that the process to buy lands was like the Chaboches, but it's good to know that they actually changed. I think it's great that they actually are avoiding this big leash dump that we suffered the last time. So I think it's great. Well, and for Chaboches, basically the latest news is that Chibochi's owners will only will get 5% of all the bond emissions in ChibaSwap since the new contract started. That includes the Doggy Dow. So that's another great benefit for Chibochi's holders. We also mentioned recently the ones that are going to be in the Metaverse. So, well, we covered already a lot of subjects and we touched Chibochis in all of them, basically. So this is what we have for the owners. I know that some people in the community for the Chabochis was thinking that they were being left behind in a kind fashion, but that was not the case. As you see, we are really caring about all of them, and it's important for us that they get the use that we expected. You know, we didn't create just the NFTs of Chabochis to be a nice JPEG. You know, it has to have some utility. So this is how we complete the parts. You know, we always go for the ecosystem perspective, and this also allows us to make Chabochis something that works inside of it. You know, this is very great for making the ecosystem more effective to changes when you have different parts. So I think that, well, um, I really don't have anything more to add. You know, you were talking a lot about that before. So yeah, what can I say? What can I say?
Well, I think Shib Informer, it's really important to say that the Shiboshis are going to play a huge part in the metaverse as well. So this isn't kind of a one and done type thing. It's again, every part of our ecosystem is going to be involved in the metaverse. But I think it's important to reiterate that Shiboshis, along with the 5%, along with the exclusive access to lands, they will be playing a large part in the metaverse as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think basically Shaitoshi's quote that he popped in the Discord a little while ago sums up everything that you need to know, which is when it comes to Shiboshis, you think floor price, we think passive income for life. So they are something that will pay off most definitely in future.
Yeah, that's actually what makes them interesting. You know, it's not just just JPEG that you expect that go into price. It has some utility, and that's important. That's something that I always like to talk about Chebochis. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you also. So I'm like other persons in the team that I have everything. I have these cheap bone Chebochis, and I hope to have lands. Maybe I'm lucky. Who knows? So yeah, everything in the ecosystem tries to fit in the other parts. You know. So I hope that the people can actually see that after listening to us talking about how everything fits together. If you see there's actually a vision about that we try to expand the reach. We want to actually be the most popular token in the world, and all these steps go towards that goal. And to be honest, I'm very optimistic, and I hope that we're still working well. The chip team works well for a big reason: is that we respect each other very, very deeply. So everyone that has an opinion in the team, we talk about it and we listen with respect. And this is something that allow us to reach quickly to decisions. We move very fast. The market moves quickly, and we have always to react. From the perspective of, I don't know, a hack, we have to create quickly a letter about that. Or when we publish new products, there's a lot of work behind that, and it's hard to keep up with everything. But the team is so amazing that I think we're able to do it. We're not that big, but everyone respects so much each other that we're always for the other. Yeah, I can say that about the team. I love you guys.
There is a lot of love amongst all of us, which is really just so exciting to see, and just so heartwarming to see that though we, I mean, not to quote Harry Potter, but though we may come from different places and speak in many different tongues, our hearts beat as one. And I may be showing my nerd side there, but it really does hold true for this community. And of course, people will always disagree about how things should be done. But I think Shib is just so special in that everybody wants what's best for the community. And it's just really heartwarming to see. And I've never worked with such a wonderful, diverse group of people before that, yeah, working with Shib, it feels like being home, like having just a family spread all around the world.
Wait, thank you so much for all that information and sharing that vision about what's to come in the Shiba Inu ecosystem. So moving forward, I believe that covers the NFT topic of this AMA. We do have some panelist speakers that have not had quite a chance to speak tonight. So, Ms. Kellyanne Collins, I want to give you a proper introduction. So, I now have the honor of introducing the lovely, humble friend of Shiba Inu, creator of meta art representing females in tech, humanitarian, and overall wonderful human being. Welcome to the stage, Ms. Kellyanne Collins.
Hi, I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much. And thank you for hosting. I know this is not easy. I know it's not easy to host a space because I've been doing a lot of that lately. So props to you all for this. This is amazing. I'm happy to be here with old friends from 15 years ago and also some new friends that I met today. In fact, I just met some in my DMs. So, the Shib community is amazing. The team, as anyone here listening can tell, is incredible. And, I know I'm just one voice among millions, but, I'm just so honored to be here. And, I'm thrilled to support everything that Shib is doing to make the world a better place. And I truly believe that everyone in the Shib community wants to make the world a better place. And, that's what is our bond. And as Queenie was saying with, Shib is love, like that's one thing I always think of. And I always think of, Shib is love, Shib is light, and Shib is all of us. And I truly believe it's the future. I believe crypto is the future. I believe Shib is the future. So I'm always tweeting about it, always telling people because I really don't want anyone to miss out.
Absolutely, absolutely. Everyone, if you could, please take a minute to tweet the space bottom right hand corner so we can make Shiba Army trend out here. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Rowdy. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing really well. I was trying to ask William if he knew Kelly from the time that she used to be the president for the Olivia Newton-John fan club. I'm not sure that's where you met her, William.
Well, I met her on F Company. I'm not going to spell the first name, but you know what it is. I was .commie on that board, and Biking Bill and Deep Fat Chopra. I was a bunch of things. We all had funny names on that board, and I do remember her very well. And I'm, connected to her on Facebook. But yeah, I mean, I think that goes back to like 2001, 2002. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's an interesting stuff that went on there. It was a very colorful time, to say the least.
It was an exciting time. And this time now reminds me of that time back then. That, you know, we didn't have social media. We had message boards. And yeah, I mean, my friend, you know, Philip had that message board, which was the most popular message board on the internet
I
at the
tried to buy
time.
it from him before he shut it down. I tried to buy F Company before he shut it down. But
Yeah.
the story is that Phil started an ad network and got
Yeah.
venture funding from the very people he had twisted. F Company used to have a pool on what company was going to go out of business next after the dot-com crash, and so he couldn't even sell it. I mean, he was blocked because I loved that crazy place. It was funny as hell. Yeah, lots of good times.
It's amazing.
No, I'm glad you guys connected. Like, that's what's so amazing about spaces and social media, and kind of what drew me in to the Shib Army. I mean, I'd been a trader, and then I got into spaces, and I kind of stumbled into the Shib Army, and then suddenly this moral imperative jumped out at me because it was such a powerful thing. I mean, people were so positive. It was united beyond the investment. It was a community, and you know, I'm not the biggest account. I'm not the biggest voice. I'm a one small voice in millions of voices that are out there about the Shib Army. And I mean, there are people in this audience right now that have been working for since Shib started, just pumping it out and pumping it out. And those people need to be saluted. Everybody in here that's listening needs to be saluted, because this is no longer a meme economy. This is a community-driven asset, and it blows me away. And then, you know, William, you've stepped forward years ago, and you know, you captured some of the very first technology and brought forward gaming, which to me is another form of social medium. It's a medium, it's a message, and then communities that were built around your games. And this is just, I mean, it's mind-blowing. It makes me more and more
Well,
bullish about it.
the funny story is how we actually, me and a woman named Jerry Cuono, came up with the very first iPhone game, because that was a complete fluke. I mean, we were just wondering what we could do next after doing a spoof game on Paris Hilton in Flash for the web, and we saw Steve Ballmer say the iPhone was going to fail totally, so we came up with this idea of doing a whack-a-mole game with Steve Ballmer from Microsoft popping out of holes, and we built this web thing before the iPhone was even out, and then we got it out the weekend the iPhone shipped. So that was completely accidental. But the bigger stuff is, yeah, optical media games, yeah, social games with chat and stuff. Did a game with the Wayans brothers, all this cool stuff. But always try to like catch that wave before, early on, and the whole blockchain game thing, when you see people like sort of making some mistakes and you think you can do better, and you meet someone like Shytoshi who basically has some secret sauce, it feels really good.
No, and that just echoes more and more to the community building around the Shib Army. They'd love to see this. They'd love to see someone like you, with years and years of experience coming. Shytoshi's, background going into this. I mean, it's Playside Studios. I mean, I'm such a fanboy of Playside with everything they're doing with the Beans, NFT games, Dumb Ways to Die. And they're even coming up with a Legally Blonde franchise, which I think is super, super cool. It speaks volumes. And again, I'm one voice in millions, and everybody here is so loud. And we should all just tweet this out as the Shib Army, that we're here talking to William Volk, talking to Shib Queenie, who literally quoted Harry Potter in front of 8,000 people, which I thought was awesome. Shib Informer, just given his knowledge, like flying it out. Archangel, I'm still absorbing everything that Archangel's been given going on, and a huge thank out, from the community side of those people behind the scenes. I mean, we see Milkshake all day, every day, tweeting about Shib. We see the people that are managing the communities. Like Trophius is managing like 1,700 people, no, 17,000 people in the
It's more than
Discord.
that. It's like
Yeah,
170,000 people.
right. I pick on him a lot. I do. He likes it, though. I think he likes the abuse, but I would never pick on anybody. I mean, so as a community, we're not just in Twitter. We're in Discord. We're on Telegram. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. And each of those communities are kind of isolated, but they're all connected by the same vision going on. And hey, William, I'm super stoked you're into the project. And Kelly and I talk about this a lot. She's now going to actually brag a lot that she knows you and everything. I just don't know
It's
if I
like
can
it's
handle
like
that.
one of the most fun things I've ever worked on. They're good people to work with. It's just so cool. It's a cool project.
Yeah, cool. I think that's a word I like to use a lot, is cool. It's just so cool. Yeah, I mean, beyond me being the best dressed in the audience, I'm still going to hold that to it. I'll give Shib Queenie some props there, and Kellyanne, and everyone. We all know that Milkshake outdid us all, but hey guys, thanks very much for having me up. And I just wanted to speak to the community behind all this, which is every single holder out there and everyone that's participating in this space. So shout out to y'all.
Hey,
Also, I
thank you
do
very
love that
much.
after all of that posturing about who was going to be best dressed, I rocked up in my pajamas.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. But I am dressed for comfort. I wasn't going to dress to the nines. Just, you know. 'cause...
Queenie, I feel bad for your DMs now. That's going to be horrible.
Don't even bring it up. We just pretend it doesn't exist. But speaking of DMs and the community, I think we have the community questions now.
Yep. So we'll quickly move over to our next segment of the show. But before we do, make sure you drop a subscribe to Watch Your Guru's Telegram if you want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest information in the crypto space. Watch Your Guru is still your number one source for news and trending crypto here on the interweb. So moving forward, let's bust out some community questions. And it was my privilege going in and out of spaces every single day, talking to the Shib community, getting real answers. And I know Milkshake was really adamant about hearing from the community. So I hope this groundwork really sheds some light and really gets these questions out there. So the first community question coming in from Crypto WAP from the Shiba Discord: with so many advancements in the project since we got the Wolf Paper V2, could Sheeb Army expect to get an updated version outlining everything new that is happening with the project?
Yeah, so I don't know who wants to take that one, but there's definitely a version 3 of the Wolf Paper coming. We've made so many achievements and so many advancements in this space just since the original Wolf Paper was launched months ago, not even a year ago yet. And that all needs to be included in the Wolf Paper along with the projects that we've announced today.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure everybody's looking forward to that update. Coming in from DRock33 from the Shiba Discord, Shibarium is going to be epic as a layer 2 solution on the Ethereum network. The biggest question I have is is it even an option or a possibility to leave the Ethereum network in the future for a standalone Shib ecosystem?
I'm happy to take this one. So Shibarium, as I know many would have realized, we don't have a lot of information that we can give out at this stage, partly for security purposes and partly because obviously it's still under heavy development. Shibarium is going to be a layer 2 scaling solution on the Ethereum network, as we have discussed. It will always be Ethereum because Shib is a token. It's an ERC20 token. So without us duplicating or recreating Shib completely from the ground up and changing, in essence, everything about it, it will never be its own completely standalone blockchain. It's just not how it actually works. But in saying that, layer 2 solutions, the way they work, they are like a mini blockchain of their own, which I know is where the confusion comes from. But to answer the question, simply put, no, it will always be ETH.
Okay, thank you for that. Next question is from Excelsius from Shiba Discord. With She likely to become a reality in the near future, will She burning be used to peg She's value to keep it stable?
Yeah, so that's one of those specific questions that we can't answer. So again, when you're developing these types of platforms, you've got strategic, operational, and tactical level considerations, and this is more of an operational consideration and we're still working on the strategy component of that. So we can't confirm or deny that Shib is going to be pegging She.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. And I agree. All great things take time. So I understand. Next community question coming in from The Rock on Twitter. Will Bone rewards continue with Shibarium? We reached 210 million supply of Bone and the max supply is 500 million. So how will the reward ratio be scheduled?
not sure who's taking this one, so I'm happy to put my
I was about to say.
put my hand up.
Go for it.
So,
I was going to jump in, but you're good.
yeah, I was just going to sort of direct everyone to essentially what the devs have always said, which is to consider the minting chart, which demonstrates the bone per block and the way it changes as it mints. So the rewards will be continuing. That was always the plan, but the exact details for that we aren't going to announce until it actually becomes pertinent. Like when you think about it, Bone isn't finished minting until mid-2024. So we're going to follow that schedule and make any changes known, of course, before they arrive. But for the time being, Bone rewards will still be continuing, and they always will. Any adjustments that need to be made or any changes, of course, we will announce. But for now, just refer to that schedule and keep on enjoying getting your bone.
Okay, well, we got a few more, so thank you very much for that answer.
No
Our
worries.
next community question from Oh God Yes on Twitter. We know they have announced one passive stream of income for Shiboshis this past week, but how many total streams can we realistically expect or hope to get with Shiboshis?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and take that. So we I guess during this AMA, we've announced a couple ways to be actively involved. As far as passive income, I don't think that's the right term, because you are going to have to keep up with this and be active in the community to get benefits and see what's going on with the Shiboshis themselves. So as far as passive streams of income, I'd rather not call them that. I'd call them more benefits or active participation benefits. As far as how many there's going to be, if you want, we can cut it off at the ones we've announced, but I don't think the community wants that. I think the community would rather keep the compensation going on into the future, and right now that's undetermined. I mean, this is a project that's looking out for years and years. So the compensation that's going to be coordinated with Shiboshi owners is we can't tag a specific number onto that just yet.
Well, thank you very much for that. And a lot of these questions are surrounding Shibarium. I know it's still in a working progress. We have a question coming in from Shib Dream on Twitter. We all know that Shibarium is a process with no exact dates to be given, but can we get the Shiba Army? When can the Shiba Army expect an update on the public and private testnet?
So again, it kind of ties back, and I know that this is a little bit disappointing because people always want to hear about Shibarium, and I'm just as excited as you guys are. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's just something that we really can't discuss. Again, we always give information as soon as we reasonably can, and we did just give that update about the testnet, the one that people are aware of. So we can't really speak any more to that. We have a few other projects that obviously we're tying up for now. As we saw, we launched phase 1 of the DAO, and honestly, I actually will take this opportunity to just give a shout out to our devs. They work absolutely tirelessly, especially we've got Eric M, who goes by @WhenFloat, I believe, and Penny. He has a few different names, but he works very, very hard, and so does Carl. And thank you, everyone in the community. I will say thank you for your lovely words to Carl about for his father, and for your patience as we keep things going. But for now, no updates on any test nets. But just know that, as always, the devs are working extremely hard to get everything going and to get all of these things just ready. And like I said with the game, do it once, do it right. We want it to be of a quality and secure enough that we can be proud of it and put it out into the community. Because at the end of the day, we are just essentially the vessels for the community's will. We are the developers, or I don't say we, the devs, and then those of us adjacent. We are just acting as a conduit to get things ready to go. Carl has just said he can say that we're already in alpha. We have that deployed, and we're working towards a beta for Shibarium. But beyond that, we really can't give anything else.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Queenie, for answering those community questions for us. And thank you for the Shiba Inu team for being here tonight. Before we close out the space, I just want to give the panel here a final opportunity to say their piece. So, panel, please do hit us with your final thoughts.
Shaitoshi has just said to me, something is coming and it will be appreciated forever and ever. And also to give a shout out to X Fund for helping us with the work on Shibarium. That's from Shaitoshi and Carl.
Well, there you go. Super, super exciting. Real quick, Miss Kellyanne Collins.
Shout out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shiba Informer, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. The guys from Excellent team, they're amazing. And they're working with us in developing the Shibarium L2 blockchain. So they're great. I want everyone to know that. So yeah, that's it. A shout out to them. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. And that the thing that is coming, it should be next week, I believe. A surprise is coming next week, or at least in the coming days. Everyone loves it when I say that. And yeah, that it will be something exciting. Shib is sorry, Rowdy. Shib will always be best dressed.
Well, there you go. You heard it first here on Watcher Guru. Mr. Rowdy, you want to go ahead? You have your hand up?
Yeah, best dressed. Yeah, okay, I'm down with that. Yeah, all right. Well, I know Kelly and I have something planned. What do we got planned after this, Kelly? Nope.
Well, can you hear me? We have a party planned, and I was talking to the DJ. Yes. So we're throwing an after party after this. So we're really excited about it. It's going to be casual. People can come. We are looking forward to hearing from the community.
Yeah, we're gonna basically once the space ends here, guys, head on over to Kelly's account and my account if you're looking for the space. I'll tweet it out. Everybody here is invited. Everybody in the panelists, everybody come over, and we'll get an opportunity to hear from everybody down below to come up. We'll get you up to speak and everything like that, and it's gonna be pretty fun. I do have an outfit change, and I'm ready to go.
All right, thanks everyone. Enjoyed this totally.
No,
Thank
thank
you
you,
all.
Mr. William Volk. A huge fan, man. Thank you so much for being here tonight and dropping all that knowledge for us, man. We really do appreciate it.
Yes,
Stay
thank you so
tuned.
much. Highlight of my
Big
life.
fan. Yeah, thank you to
Oh
everybody
my
up
God,
here on the
so
panel
crazy.
this evening.
All right, see you guys. Bye-bye.
Yep.
Thank you all so much.
And an
Mark,
even
yeah.
bigger thanks to the Shib Army for showing up and showing out in force tonight. This is one of the most amazing communities I've ever been a part of. If you are a member of the press development team or just feel the need to reach out, you can contact us through the Watcher Guru contact form on the website or through the Twitter DMs. Matt, hit me with those words of wisdom.
What an insane star-studded Shiba Guru AMA we had here tonight. We will continue to bring you these spaces each and every week here on Blockchain Banner. Thank you so much to everyone for financial advice. So make sure to do your own research in DD and make sure to take a second to follow Watcher Guru and this amazing panel of speakers we have here tonight. Big shout out, big thank you to Milkshake for helping put this together and all the other amazing speakers here on this panel. Thank you for joining this Watcher Guru space tonight.
Let's shut it down with some emojis in the chat, guys. Throw some hearts up there. Throw some faces. Throw some hands out there for the Shib Army. I don't want to see anything but emojis in this space before we shut it down.
Woohoo! And also for anybody who... Ooh. Oh gosh, what happened there? There we go. For anybody who missed out any part of this, there will be a recording available for you to listen to. And additionally, if you'd like to go to the after party that's being hosted by Rowdy and Kelly, they'll be able to go over any of the questions that you have as well, or just give clarity on anything you may have misunderstood or just want a little bit more information on. So I will endeavor to be there as well if we'd like somebody from the team who was, had access to that information to give some clarity. Otherwise, as always, my DMs are always open and you can find me on Discord where there are a lot of us in the Shib team and the devs like to hang out. So any questions at all, go to the, listen to the recording, go to the after party, come hang out in Discord. And thank you all so much for being here and for sharing your time with us.
Yep. And Queenie, like you said, all questions can be asked, but not all can be answered.
Precisely.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all so much.
Shiba.